Good morning, friends. It's Friday, and according to the old Vatican, Fish Day. One of my only mentions of the Catholic Church, I suspect. We are going on a little fishy journey. I love fish and seafood of all kinds, and I bought some on Wednesday morning, and it's Friday. It's been sitting in my refrigerator accidentally. What I usually do and what works is you get your fish fresh, except for shrimp. I just read, so it must be true, that shrimp is always frozen, and so you might as well get it frozen rather than thinking you're getting fresh from the fish department when it's actually been frozen anyway. And I love my shrimps. And see, now everybody's doing the shrimps with an S at the end. I started it. Okay. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do some triage. I hope it's not triage. I hope it's not spurled. And I'm sure you know the rule. The nose knows. And by that, of course, I mean the sniff test is going to tell us if the expensive, depending upon your definition, seafood I got is still edible. The good news is the shrimp is fine. It smells like shrimp. Aren't these gorgeous? I just told you that you might as well buy them frozen, and I have a giant frozen bag of giant frozen shrimp in the freezer. But I saw these at the market, at the farmer's market, which has a fishmonger. I just love that term. And there's the little black dot representing the fish, the shrimp poo, many people think it is. I think it's the digestive tract. We'll talk about whether or not to yank it out or not. I like to get a tweezers. I'd like to get a tweezers and do it because it's fun. So anyway, because I'm lucky enough to be, Jack, a cat smelling seafood. What a storyline. Come on, down. Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh. He's fine. He's a cat. He was just trying to hold on to the countertop. It's like, no! But he landed, guess where? On his feet. Like I do. Like you do, because we are survivors. Eye of the tiger. What's the Katy Perry one? That's the lion. Okay, anyway. Get a little glimpse into my divergent thinking, which I used to call ADHD right up until this week. Very exciting. All right, so my shrimp is good. This is, as you can probably see, this is not shelled. It's shrimp in the shell with the tail, and that means I gotta do the unshelling. Oh, let me show you how to do that really quick, okay? So you're gonna peel at the top, right? As if it's a collar. So I still have all that shell right over here. And you're going to throw that away. Then you're going to take the tail, check this out, pinch above the tail, hold on, boop, easy peasy, and definitely lemon squeezy. Oops. The only reason I oopsed is because I usually have a plastic bag here to hold the shells. So I learned that, I think I learned it from an actual shrimp person, and I don't mean someone who is short. And I can say that because watch this. It feels good. It's one of those things, like a pimple popper. And that's not me. I'm not one of those people that enjoys watching Dr. Pimple Popper. I was intrigued by her rise to fame. You know, this noted dermatologist, most famous for showing pimple popping, and I understand it. We all have those things. See, like for me, should I give this to Jack? Let's see, Jack, do you want that? Well, no, it's down there. All right, he doesn't seem particularly thrilled. Please remind me to pick that up off the kitchen floor. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have got your attention that way. Now he's like, what was that? The other thing I started doing rather late in life is, I'm not going to do it now because I don't need to, and I'll explain why. Saving the shrimp shells. It was when I learned that the way to get really flavorful chowder and other shrimp other dishes to have that shrimp flavor is the shrimp shell secret. Say that 5 times fast. Shrimp shell shrimp shell secret. Shrimp shell secret. That's a good one. Not as good as Bug's Black Blood. I read in one of my trivia books as a kid that was the second hardest tongue twister. Bug's Black Blood. Saying it fast. And I remember reading, so it must be true. This is pre-internet, when life happened. Oh, I'm so profound. I read, sometimes the tail falls off. Ain't that the truth? Am I right? The actual, the actual toughest tongue twister in the world is the skunk fell off the stump and broke his larynx in Swahili. Okay. Another shrimp. So what I do, because I live alone and happily, I get 6 shrimps for dinner. And so what I'll do is, here's another thing that makes ordering shrimp ordering anything at the seafood bar far less intimidating, because I know it can be. When there's a real person standing behind the counter at a fish place and there's a whole bunch of fish and there are people behind you, so you feel like you got to do it fast. First of all, fuck them, okay? This is your time, so take it. But if you're standing there going, what's the difference between shark and swordfish? No. It's a good thing to know, but don't do that while there are people waiting behind you, because that's just rude. One of the things you can do, instead of saying, especially with shrimp and scallops, which I also have in here, is instead of having to go, so it's $13.99 a pound, and there are 21, and instead of having to do math in your head or faking it and say, what is a quarter of a pound? Ask for the number. I know, right? So what I say is, I want 4 of those. And for example, I always get 2 servings of scallops. They're called dry scallops, but that is an oxymoron. So I ask for 8 scallops, and they don't care. Then it's easier for them, actually, if you think about it. Then they can count 8 and hand it to you. So that makes shopping at your local fishmonger easier. I'm running out of time, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to marinate the shrimps, and because I'm going to be marinating, these are fine, the nose knows. I'm going to I'm not going to marinate these. I do want to cook them with you, though, because getting a nice crust on the scallops is really easy with my secret tool. Well, it's not a tool. It is a, you're a tool. No, I'm only kidding. We're friends, I hope. I'm not needy. And you don't need butter. I've really discovered that whenever you're cooking, you can use oil. And I've got different oils to share with you too. This is a piece of salmon, and it's fine too. And I want to cook this with you because salmon skin. You eat it only because it is chock filled with omega-3 oils, which are really good for your heart. And by the way, this is information that's been around now for a couple of decades. Doesn't mean it's true. But omega-3 oils being good for your heart is something that you can check. And I urge you to check everything, because that's the kind of world we live in. It's a post-truth internet world, and no one is safe. And that's actually true. No one is safe from lies and mendacity, which, oh, that means lies too. Okay, I want to share with you what I'm doing with the shrimps, and then I'll say goodbye for a while. I'll just say goodbye for a while. Here's what I want to show you. Wait a minute, did I already do this? I think I did, but I don't think I posted it. Dry them off. Psst, that's the secret to a nice crust on scallops. Dry them off. And if you saw Julie and Julia, it's also the secret for the browning of beef. You must use dry foods in your pan in order to get a nice crusty crust. Okay, so here are your shrimps. No, they're not yours, they're mine. 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 I always think of Daffy Duck, miniaturized with the big pearl. Mine. It's probably called Alibaba. I forget what it's called. Those of us who grew up on Bugs, on the good Warner Brothers cartoons, the Tex Avery's, right? Now, am I going to see what's looking up at me is I don't know what that is, the spinal column. It looks exactly like the digestive tract. And you know what I usually do? I usually do this. I take a little knife and I slice that mofo right open there like this. Wait. Yeah. And then I'll take my knife and oh yeah, it is like pimple popping. That's so appetizing. And then I'm going to pull this one out. Yeah, you know, I think it really depends on how much time you have and what kind of personality you have. All sorts of factors that are completely personalized. Now I want to do all of these. But you know what? I want to show you what I do with the shrimp. And I do it with my salmon. And the wonderful thing about this marinade is that you can do it with anything and everything, and it's delicious. And it was from my friend Scott, who's just a doll. Does that sound, I guess it sounds no, it doesn't sound, whatever. Agave, and of course, sriracha. And I think he might use brown sugar instead of agave, which I've done, and it's delicious. But agave's right here, and it's easy to pour, and it makes it sweet. So pour that, not too much or too much. Ha! And then we take our sriracha, and we do the same thing. Basically, that's it. There are a couple of other little taste layers of flavoring, including the ever popular Worcestershire. Give it a shake, give it a splash. I have a really funny story about splash, which is kind of silly. Look at this, ginger, right? Oh, Marianne. All those boomer refs. You want to do that? You want to keep account of how many boomer references, and why would you want to do that? So I'm opening up some, I just spilled ginger sauce down the girls, between them. Okay, well, I'm going to take a couple of these, and I'm also going to take some of the juice that I didn't spill down my cleavage and go bloop. And of course what that does is it gives a nice gingery flavor. And then I let it sit. By the way, one of the wonderful things about this marinade is that you can add whatever you want. Oh, I have my fresh herbs. Right now I can't do it, but as soon as my new gadget comes, I'll be able to walk over to my windowsill where my herbs are sitting, in the sunlight, and I'll be able to pluck them from their stem and utilize them, washing them first because that's just what you do. All right, so these look kind of lonely, but that's okay. I also, remember I suggested that having all kinds of stuff in your cabinet is a great idea, and that's not controversial, is it? I've got the umami. It's Trader Joe's mushrooms. Oh, let me do it makeup influencer way. There we go. I just think it's silly because it adds a mushroomy flavor. I love mushrooms. I love them because they taste like a forest. And cherry tomatoes too. They to me, there's a flavor in them of wood. I bet that has a name because everything has a name, right? But I don't know it. Okay. Date syrup. That's really great. Shout out to Israel. The herbs de Provence. That's a like, why not? And then I also want to share these shallots with you. I get my stuff at Marshall's because I love Marshall's. That's where I shop. And these are freeze-dried shallots. And this was $4.99. And as soon as I discovered how fabulous they were, I went right back to Marshall's and I bought up every single jar of them. Here, smell. Isn't that fabulous? It's a toasted onion flavor and packed with flavor. And that's going on there too. So then I'm going to let that sit in the refrigerator, always, of course, marinate everything in the refrigerator. And then I'm going to saute them. It's really that simple. If you want to watch me saute shrimp. Anyway, oh, this is my thing, I've decided, which means that I'm not going to be self-deprecating. A delicious marinated shrimp dinner can go from fridge to face in 15 minutes. And that's the kind of meal you want. You can put this in your fridge and let it sit all day while you're at work, like I used to do, and come back, turn on your pan. Ooh, pan. Okay. Fire up your cast iron or whatever pan you use. Throw these in there and have them for dinner. And if you have a grain or a pasta, anything in the fridge to go with it, you just plop the shrimp on top of it and boom. It's so easy, so delicious, so nutritious, low fat, and so good for you. And you can't beat that combo, can you? All right, I'm hitting on 20 minutes, which is way too long. Have a great weekend, and I hope you are healthy and happy. Make those kind of choices that'll make us free. And we'll talk more about the freedom of letting go of any weight we want to. I want to. 30 pounds by the end of this. We're also going to talk about movement. Or as my old Weight Watchers instructor used to say, if you do nothing else, just do your M&Ms, moisture and movement. And she was right. And she was gorgeous too. Have a great weekend. Bye.